What is going on to my movie fans out there, and welcome back to my channel. Elliot here from MovieFiles, giving you my review in my car after just seeing Moana 2. This will be a spoiler-free review, but before we get into my thoughts, let me hear yours in the comments below. Was Moana 2 on your calendar? Were you a fan of the first one? Of course, once you've seen the sequel, what worked, what didn't work, and are you excited for more Moana? Because there is more coming soon. Let's talk about it. So, I am a fan of 2016's Moana. I think it's a gorgeous looking film. I think the story is really strong. The soundtrack is really awesome. But I wasn't overly excited for the sequel. And then knowing what I know about how the sequel was supposed to be a television series, and then it became a movie later, and we'll talk about that later in the review. But let's start off with the positives. I thought, number one, as with Disney, for the most part, the animation's gorgeous, and the same could be said about this one. I mean, all the water sequences, the adventure side of it, just seeing the lighting, the coloring, like, it is a gorgeous looking film, without a shadow of a doubt. It looks even more crisper and cleaner than the original, which was beautiful within itself. So I think from a visual standpoint, the film's gorgeous. Whenever we get to spend time with Moana, who's already a great character within itself, and I love the little, I don't want to say anything. There's a comment in the film that's very funny for those that talked about the first Moana, about her being a princess or not, and I'll just leave it at that. But I think Moana's a great character. I really love the voice performance. I really like the character in general, just her strength and her, leadership, her responsibilities to her people, and I love the continuation of that story with her. But then seeing Moana on screen with Maui, which I'll talk about, they should have been on screen a little bit more, but whenever they're on screen together, their chemistry's great. I love their friendship now after what happened the first one, and seeing that continuation in the second one. Maui's great, by the way. Like, I think The Rock really has found something special with this character, and I'll talk about him a little bit later, but again, them two on screen and them individually really work. And I will say there were a new group of Voyagers with us this time around that's going on this adventure. They grew on me, because initially I'm like, these characters just feel like TV characters, like someone you will follow on television series, not necessarily in a movie. But by the time we get to the credits rolling, I really like the chemistry amongst the entire new team that we get to meet. Like, there's an inventor, there's a fanboy of Maui, and there's an older gentleman that's a farmer. Again, it took me a while to get used to them, but once they get their groove into the story, I like them. So visually, I liked it. I like the continuation of Moana's story and the banter with Maui. And that's where my negatives come in, because I will say the film for me failed to kind of recapture the magic of the first one. Number one of the big things I love about the first one is the replayability of the soundtrack. Unfortunately, y'all, the soundtrack, it's not that the songs were bad, it's just that they're not memorable, and they don't feel like they have much emotion to them. They're not catchy, especially when you think about the first one. There's some really good songs in that one, and this one just kind of missed the mark for as far as like what the songs mean to the story, just weren't as impactful. Number two, I kind of alluded to it at the beginning. This was supposed to be a TV series. Bob Chapek wanted this to be a TV show on Disney+. He got fired. Bob Iger said, we're not putting this on a small screen. We need to make a sequel. And this feels like a Frankenstein of a movie of the sorts, where it feels like, oh, this seems like a television show, because it's kind of pieced into sections. We're like, let's go to this adventure. Let's meet this character. Let's introduce this. And it doesn't really feel like a whole film, more so like a television show. And it hurts this experience with the film, because it does feel kind of batchy. The pacing's a little bit off. And it just feels like you're watching something that doesn't have that much importance at times. So I will say the making of how this was Frankenstein in the movie kind of is a detriment to the film. And then I would say my other negative is it doesn't have the same emotional pull from what we got with the first one, Moana, her family, and everything that goes with her journey and becoming who she becomes by the end of the film. This one just doesn't have that pull, even though I really like the relationship between Moana and her little sister, but I think emotionally it just doesn't hit as hard and doesn't stick with you, at least for me, as hard as the first one did. So again, overall, I would say it is a decent sequel. But again, knowing that they just kind of took some ideas, re-rendered some of the animation from the TV series and made it to the film, you can feel that lack of kind of heart and that lack of originality of a sort with this kind of restitching of the film, if you want to call it that. Again, the musical numbers aren't as powerful. And Moana and Maui, I wish they were just on screen together more, because again, we meet these new characters, and again, I like them by the end, but I'm like, man, we could have had Moana and Maui on the adventure from the start. There's a villain that's introduced that really doesn't flesh out too well, and there's also another character attached to the villain that Kanna's there, then she's not there, then she pops back out at the end, which, by the way, no spoiler, but there is a mid-credit scene that definitely sets up the future for another Moana. But overall, I would say it's probably a 3 out of 5, where the first one was like a 4.5 out of 5 for me. So a 3 out of 5 is solid. I would say if you have kids, go check it out. They're going to love it. All the kids that were on the screen tonight love the film. If you're a diehard of the original, if you're an adult or even a teenager or in your 20s, it's not going to hit as hard, but it's still a film worth checking out, I would say, overall. So 3 out of 5 from Moana 2. Let me know what you all thought of the film once you've seen it. Your pros, your cons. Do you want a part 3? Are you excited for the live-action film? Let's talk about it all in the comments below. Thank you guys again for watching this video. Again, if you liked it, hit the thumbs up. Consider sharing this video, and also consider sticking around by subscribing to the channel. Don't forget, you all are awesome. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all on the next video.